Ladies and gentlemen, globe-trotters and thrill-seekers, get ready to ride the wave of wanderlust. From the bustling streets of Bangkok to the ancient temples of Angkor and the vibrant chaos of Hanoi, three fearless friends, Tiffany, Kevin, and Ricky, took Southeast Asia by storm. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to roll out the red carpet for the top 10 features of their epic holiday adventure. 3 Go East. Get your passports ready, because this show is going first class.
So, travel buddies.
End of travel buddies.
End of
It's
travel
coming
buddies,
to
yeah.
an end, isn't it?
That's
Come to the end of our great adventure, 3 Go East. And we thought we'd do a little top 10 features of the holiday and what our favourites were and what maybe, what our least favourite was. But we're going to start with best location. So
There was a lot of locations.
there was a lot of locations. But mine, by I think a long stretch, was Cambodia. And the reason why is I just found the people to be much more sincere, genuinely friendly, and welcoming.
I would struggle to choose my best because I loved Cambodia, but I absolutely loved Hoi An with all the lanterns, so I'd find it difficult to choose my best. Only one location.
Fair enough.
I can see that as well.
Yeah.
Because I think we'd all be agreed that those were the 2 best places that we stopped at,
Yeah.
doing different things as well.
So one for Cambodia, 2 for Cambodia.
2 for Cambodia.
Well, and half for Cambodia
Oh, right.
because
Okay.
I really loved Hoi An as well.
Graphic. Ping.
Ding. Okay, question 2 was best hotel. And I don't think it's going to come as any surprise, but actually I'm going back to Cambodia again, and it's Virof's. The cold towels, the welcome, just genuinely love to see it. Remembered your name every time you came in and entered, remembered your room number, and it's not because the girls were coming in to see me. But even down to going out in the evening, because of the mozzies, I used to spray you up with lemongrass, anti-mozzie stuff. It was brilliant.
It was, I agree, Rich. My favourite hotel is Virof's, definitely. The customer service was superb.
By a country mile, Virof's was the best hotel. Small, friendly, lovely facilities, a great swimming pool there.
Yeah.
Kind of long to get back to the swimming pool. But the staff make it. The staff are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. It was home from home for
Yeah.
me.
It was.
And actually
Everything.
the food was good there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Good there too.
Everything was good.
Yeah, definitely.
Tiffany.
Okay, so the next one is best guide. Now, this is quite a tricky one because we started in Bangkok and we had Ya, and she was lovely, and she did all the Emerald Temple and the reclining Buddha, and that was really good. And she was very informative, and she got the three of us really well and sort of became kind of a friend and joked with us all and was included in the jokes. But when we got to Cambodia, we had prong, and to start with, we were a bit sort of fired at with all this information that we couldn't work out, could we? It was just too much. But he was by far the most informative and knowledgeable guide, I think, of the whole tour.
I think I can remember us after he picked us up from the airport and dropped us off at the hotel and said goodbye, see you tomorrow, or whatever it was. I think we all said, "Oh my God, I can't put up with this guy for 3 days. It's just full in your face." But what a knowledgeable guy, and obviously first-hand experience of the Cambodia War. He's got battle scars and just a really good guy.
Yeah,
I would agree. I would agree. I think with Prom, it was very knowledgeable, but he was a teacher before. He fought in the war. He had the battle scars. He was great, but he was a bit full on, a bit information overload. Certainly the first day coming from the flight in, I was like, really?
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
But he was brilliant. But I think as well, maybe I'm going to go for Ya in Bangkok, because
she was very friendly.
she was sincere as well.
Very
sweet.
With Bangkok, we'd come literally hours after a major earthquake that they're not used to, and she kind of made us feel at ease going out to the temples. And
I'd forgotten that, Rich. Yeah, that's true. She did. She was very at ease, and she put our minds at rest. That's for sure. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, perhaps Ya or Prom.
It's my question now, isn't it?
Best meal.
Best meal. Oh, been so many. I mean, I would could have picked the safety option and gone for the great meal we had in La Sinfonia in the restaurant upstairs. We were the only people dining there. It was horrendously expensive, but the food was absolutely out of this world. It was really good.
Top-notch food.
But it was a really safe choice. But what about you? What was yours?
Well, if I was to go for my two safe choices,
It's got to be a spring roll somewhere in there.
well, they're probably there. I do like my spring
Spring
rolls.
roll.
My safe choice would be the English breakfast at Heathrow, because that was my last bit of decent English food. But we were adventurous on everything we ate.
We did.
And we had one of the, I can't remember what it's called, the balmy something or other, where we had the pancakes. But do you know what? I've never tasted spring rolls fried as nice as they were here, and even the fresh ones. I didn't know you could get fresh spring rolls, but they kind of have a sheet of rice paper and they put the leaves in, and that there's only one prawn in it, but it's quite tasty. The dips that's with
it's quite fresh, isn't it?
So it's. I think I'm going to go traditional Vietnamese was my favourite. That covers a bigger scope.
I loved the meal at La Sinfonia. Because that really was lovely meal. But I really enjoyed my meal when we were in Pub Street in Cambodia.
Yes,
and I went for the traditional taster plate of Cambodian food. So you had lots of little dishes to get you used to it, and that I really enjoyed. I've enjoyed all the food actually. I think
Pub Street was good. Was good. Was good.
I think I've enjoyed all the food, but that I quite liked because it was my real first dive into Cambodian food, so I quite enjoyed that.
I think for me as well, what surprised me with the food, the prices of the food is so cheap. I mean, we're talking pennies, if not £1.50. But it's the amount of food you was getting each time.
Tons.
When you're saying, if you had a dish of that, there's 5-6 dishes, you go, I am so bloated.
And also in Hoi An, going to Morning Glory. Both Morning Glories we went to.
About Morning Glories.
Were great meals.
Yeah.
I mean,
the second one was slightly better.
Signature, Morning Glory signature.
I don't want to close the subject down, but I would generally say the food has been one of the big bonuses, because you kind of think you're going somewhere and you're sort of
sure,
a bit not
very
sure,
different food.
worried about. We bought so many.
So much Imodium was bought with us. It's like,
So many
can I get a
Yeah.
refund? And the
Yeah.
cameras went on back.
You don't need to worry about it. The food is exceptional.
Yeah. Well, number 5, and this I think could be an interesting one. Best drink of the holiday.
Best drink.
I know what
to
Richard's
say-
is.
Oh, mate. Well, I was always in my mind to have an egg coffee because I've seen it over so many different platforms. Have the egg coffee, have the egg coffee. The first one we had wasn't all that. It came in 2 separate cups, and I remember seeing it as being in one. And then we ended up at Train Street in Hanoi. And I said to the guy, "Oh, does your egg coffee come in 2 cups or one?" And he looked at me a bit strange.
He did.
He's
Yeah,
like,
he did.
"Are you
He did.
mad?" He said,
Yeah.
"It comes in 1 cup."
Yeah.
So I had that, and it was everything that I was hoping it could be. It was absolutely gorgeous.
I would say that it's not been a drinking.
Not been a boozy holiday.
It's not been a boozy holiday.
I think it's due to the fact we're getting up very early the next day, most days.
And we had some booze every day, probably.
Yeah.
We've had
But-
we've had to take a beer and whiskey.
Yeah,
but,
beer and whiskey and cocktails and everything
Yeah.
else. But
I don't know that I've got a
No.
favourite
No, I
drink, to
can't
be
say.
honest, because it's not been a...
no, a boozy
Actually,
time.
perhaps not a favourite drink, but I think I really enjoyed our drinks on the rooftop bar in Saigon.
and listening to the toot of the traffic. Yeah.
So, Tiffany.
Okay, so the next question is best excursion. Ooh, I have to be honest, I think it's going to be Cambodia. And although I found it a little bit intrusive, I quite enjoyed going round the village.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Seeing the
all
real
the
life.
people. I felt a little uncomfortable, but I think that's perhaps us just being
Yeah,
Western.
no, but it's real
Real
insight
life.
into the way
Yeah.
people live there. And you're right, you do feel intrusive, but they
welcomed us.
they welcomed us or totally ignored us.
Yeah.
So it was a really nice way to understand what their lives are like. And living in those stilted houses for when it's flood season. And no, that was fantastic. But I do my favourite was the street food blogger.
Yes,
I
I thought,
really,
it
really,
was good fun.
especially Ricky, who was like, "I'm not going to go on that. I'm not going to turn up for that one. I'm not going to
Well, I'm
do
not
that."
being funny, but have you seen how many of them are just sitting on the side of the road with their feet? It's a bit like your rice cake lady
Oh,
girl
God,
making
no,
them using her
no,
feet
no.
to make it with
That
it.
was the worst.
Everything's on the edge of the road, and the smog, the traffic, you got mopeds going past you, and I'm like, I really don't want to get this far in the holiday and have demi belly.
Yeah.
You know, that was the thing.
Do you know what? You mentioned the rice cake lady. That was how not to do
Yeah.
a Western tourist, taking a Western tourist into a town. To go to somebody's house who makes, obviously for a local market, makes rice cakes. We walked in and they're sat there making the cake around their bare feet and wiping it with an old J cloth.
Yeah, the daughter's wiping the banana
leaves with an old-
dirty
It wasn't
cloth.
And then saying to you, "Right, sit down and eat it."
Why don't you try some?
Ooh,
God.
Yeah,
it was
it
hard.
wasn't.
Yeah,
It
it
wasn't.
was hard.
Yeah.
And there's obviously your favourite
Right.
excursion.
Angkor Wat was for me absolutely blew me away. The detail, the age of it, everything about it was good. But then I can also say the best, if I could take bits of excursions,
Yeah.
it would be exactly what you just said about in the village and looking at the stills. And probably for me, what was one of the worst experiences going to the island of Ben
yes,
Tray.
Ben Tray.
Yeah.
That
We
was
get off the
disappointing.
boat and we
Yeah,
had
that
our own
was
little rowing
disappointing.
boat thing,
Yeah.
the 3 of us and our guide. And we got off and I thought we was in another temple. I could hear this chanting, singing
Yeah.
in the distance.
Loud.
And then, very loud. And then we got round the corner and there's a family having a karaoke party at 10 o'clock, pissed out their heads. It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
on
rice-
the rice wine.
rice
Oh.
wine, yeah.
But they invited us in, the
and then,
warmth
and then,
of
of
them.
course, there was the other plus of that trip.
Yes.
Your bike ride.
Well, we're not even going to talk about my bike ride. I think it might come out at some
Oh,
point.
God.
But,
As if I'd have B-roll of Ricky on his
you know,
bike.
I mean, all the bikes were made for 8 foot tall giants, and there's me with my little 2 foot legs, and I couldn't stand on the first bike to get onto the seat.
Made for
and the
Vietnamese
pedals.
people, actually.
Made for abnormal tall people. And I tried, and I could not. All of the locks, the saddles and that
they
go on,
wouldn't
they're
move.
all locked.
I
You
needed to try and get
couldn't
mine
change it.
down, and it wouldn't go down.
So I ended up changing it for what my granddaughter probably would ride. It's about 2 foot, but it was intriguing. So I think you could take snippets, but keeping on track. Angkor Wat for me was incredible.
I would also say I really enjoyed when we did that walking tour of Hoi An, and all three of us ended up unexpectedly making lanterns, because that really was good fun.
It was good.
Yeah, that was good fun.
Yeah.
Which might be,
and even obviously we haven't got any footage of it, but Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum
Oh gosh, yes,
was
that
quite.
was good.
I just wasn't expecting to see the guy still there, obviously perfectly preserved, laid out.
No, that's true.
and I
in
think
state.
on that we've probably all just covered number 7, best moment.
I loved the cruise. I really loved the cruise, waking up in the morning and just looking out the window at the other boats and seeing all the lovely rock formations.
Yeah.
I really loved that. There's a downside to it, but I really did love that. I thought it was very nice.
It was
a bit too rushed, but it was very nice, and the food was quite good on there actually.
The food was
Yeah,
fine.
the food
It
was quite
fine.
good
It was
on
just a
there.
bit of a disappointment. But one thing I can't control, which is the weather.
Yeah.
But apparently that's what it's like most of the time there. You know, you couldn't really see that much. All those wonderful brochure shots you see of Halong Bay. The reality is most of the time it's in cloud.
It was clear this morning though.
Yeah, and the whole thing was a bit rushed for me. But
So what is your best moment,
tick.
Kevin?
Best moment?
Going home, getting rid of me?
I think it might have actually been one of those little moments where last night where we just all burst into
that was coming into
and I can't even remember what it was all about.
Lovely.
I think we were being very childish.
I think
and
it was very
just-
childish, but it just kind of summed everything up.
I had tears coming out.
It was kind
tears
of
of
uncontrollable laughter. So, which is been the whole trip really.
Yeah.
But,
No, it's been good that way.
so it must be my question now. Oh, boy, it's his best local personal engagement. We already covered it, and it was that trip in to what's his name's village in Cambodia.
Yes.
You just felt.
Prom.
Prom's village, where you just felt like you'd seen it. You know, you've actually you wasn't.
Experienced their life.
It wasn't, a sanitised version of anything. You know, it was just you got to see how
It was the
people
raw
live
village,
in the village.
wasn't
You
it?
know?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Tiffany.
best thing about Audley.
Wow.
Wow. Well, I found them great from the very beginning because I was the one that initially approached them.
It's Tiff's fault.
And we talked about it, the three of us, of what we wanted to see and what we wanted to do, and wasn't sure in some instances what we wanted. And they've been great. And Joanna in particular has been our tour guide operator, the person, our contact. And she's been really, really good. All the way through, they've given us a fantastic app on the phone, which we've used.
Yeah.
And we've also got journals, which was lovely as well, which has been great help.
The app for me has been it's amazing because you kind of lose track because you're going from country to country and hotel and blah blah blah. You kind of lose track of where you are. You've always got the app to go back to and look at what you're going to be doing tomorrow. Think about your packing, the way you because you never unpack. You never unpack your case because you don't have time for that. But being able to plan your days, your up and coming days, is really handy when you're
100%.
in that kind of existence.
I think you lose track
And-
of days and places.
And also, we've done 5 internal flights plus the flight coming to and fro from the UK. Having all that accessible from the app to be able to check in online, check you get the updates from Aldi telling you that the flight's on time and whatever. It kind of just totally stress free. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think when we sat down, the three of us a year ago and said, right, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And we made a list. And then Tiff went to Audley and said, well, this is pretty much what we want as an itinerary. What can you do? And they come back with what I would say, yes, it's been tiring. Yes, it's been full on. We've not had a day free other than in the last couple of days. Everything about what Audley have organised and suggested, I would say 90% of it, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I would, for me personally, the trip to Bentray, I think, could have been a day of rest, sat around the pool, chilling, relaxing, because it wasn't particularly informative.
No.
It was a little bit.
I think Bentray was probably the
might need looking at.
might need looking at, not the best.
Yeah, but even down to when Kev thought that, so there was a time date change. We went on to an American formatting for the flight. And you went, oh, right, look, the flight's now in September. And you sent Joanna a message. She came back really quick.
So, don't worry. That's, I can see what's probably happened there. But
It was sorted.
guarantee, sent me a copy of the tickets through and everything. So, and I think she answered that on over the weekend.
Yes,
So
it was Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. So,
And I think that's the key to it as well, is that most people you'd expect to switch off on Friday night, go home and do it.
top-notch
But with
company.
Audley, it wasn't just about the planning and going, where's your deposit, where's your money to pay for it. They've been there supporting throughout the journey if needed.
And everyone we've met that have been travelling with Audley as well.
I was just going to say that. They've all said the same.
Yeah, exactly the
They've all
same.
said the same.
Most of the street food bowlers were all Audley, weren't they?
They were.
So, and they all said the same.
Right,
Now,
the final question.
Ding ding, round one.
Best travel buddy. Now, I would like to start this off.
oh God.
Because I think it's me. No, as you all jokes aside, I think it's great dynamic. We're all easygoing.
Yeah.
I can pick a best travel buddy.
So I should think.
No, okay.
Not even your wife.
Well,
Oh,
you
you want your ironing and washing done when you get home, Kevin, you've got to remember that. But no,
I
you're
agree.
right.
I think it works really well, us three travelling. I think we get on really well.
I think getting up, Tiff likes me coming on because I take her husband away and stop him drinking beer and stuff, as you know, I'm teetotal. But I agree. I think the three of us get on extremely well. We've had some great, and if we'd have had the odd words, you wouldn't have been too annoyed because we were so bloody tired. But you would have expected a few little bits of friction.
Teshy moments.
Teshy
but
moments.
it's
With the
good.
exception of maybe today, I think nearly 14,000 steps in one day
Tops.
in 38 degree temperatures.
You was going to work it out, wasn't you, Tiff?
Oh, I was going to work it out on
but
how
never-
many
never
miles.
mind.
I
But
will.
no.
It'll be in. We have walked so
And
many
as
miles.
you can see, we're so thin now.
Look at us. We had to get smaller shirts made, didn't we?
Yeah, I will. Yes, I will work out the
So-
mileage.
To wrap it up,
Worst
we've
part.
had a fantastic.
What's the worst part of the holiday?
The worst part.
The
Worst
worst part is now, because we've got about 20 hours of travelling to go back to a cold. Well, it's not cold
It's not
in
cold,
London,
apparently.
but
It's about
it will be cold for
25.
us.
It's about 25.
Mr. Food Blogger took a gilet out with him
Yeah.
because it was cold, and then we were done.
Yeah.
So
But no.
wrapping it up.
Good.
Wrap it up.
Producer's been hard.
3 went east.
3 went east, and we're coming back home.